That is the essence of shukr. The dua that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, that by reciting this dua and contemplating over its meanings, a person has fulfilled the haqq of shukr. The right of shukr is that every morning and every evening we say Allahumma, that oh Allah, ma asbaha bi min ni'matin, whatever blessing that I am enjoying. And in the evening we say Allahumma, oh Allah, ma amsa bi min ni'matin, whatever blessing this evening I am enjoying. Faminka, it is from you, O Allah. Faminka, it is from you. And that could have been the end of it. But then on top of that, wahdaka, you alone. And if that emphasis is not enough, then la sharika lak, and you have no partner. So the attribution is, the nisbat of the ni'mah is back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Faminka, it is from you. Wahdaka, you alone. La sharika laka, you have no partner. Falaka alhamdu wa laka shukru. So all praise belongs to you, and all thanks belong to you. One would be, alhamdulillah means praises belongs to you. When you say bring the laka before the hamd, it means falaka alhamdu, all praise belongs only to you. And ashukru lak means thanks is to you, O Allah. And laka shukru means thanks only for you, O Allah. The taqdeemu ma haqqu ta'khir yufidul hasr, bringing it forward, laka, it means only for you. Just like in Surah Al-Fatiha we say iyyaka na'budu. Instead of saying na'buduka. Na'buduka, we worship you. Nasta'inuka, we seek your help. But when you say iyyaka na'budu and iyyaka nasta'in, means only you we worship and only your aid, only your help we seek. So whatever blessing we have, we make nisbat of this back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not from our side, it is from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives the example of Sulaiman alayhi salam. فَلَمَّا رَآهُ مُسْتَقِرًا عِنْدَهُ. First he asked the question, مَنْ يَأْتِينِي بِعَرْشِهَا قَبْلَ أَنْ يَأْتُونِي مُسْلِمِينَ. Who will bring the throne of Bilqis, the queen of Saba, before she herself comes in submission? And he had two answers. قَالَ عِفْرِيتٌ مِنَ الْجِنِّ أَنَا آتِيكَ بِهِ قَبْلَ أَنْ تَقُومَ مِنْ مَقَامِكَ. One strong jinn, he said, I will bring it before the end of this gathering. And then the one who had the knowledge of the book of Allah, قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد إليك طرفك. I'll bring it in a blink of an eye. فلما رآه مستقرا عنده, when he saw the throne is right there, immediately, instantly, قال هذا من فضل ربي. This is from the fadl of my Rabb. He did not attribute that power of his kingdom to himself. هذا من فضل ربي ليبلوني, to test me, will I be grateful or ungrateful? أشكر أم أكفر. So whatever blessing we have, in particular, I wanted to speak about the blessing of deen, because you are the brothers and sisters who are here for the Salatul Fajr. And when it comes to the blessing of deen, and with relation who may be deprived of this blessing of deen, how should the relationship be? Allah Ta'ala brought you for the Salatul Fajr, and there are those who are sleeping in their homes. So with respect to this relationship, right, there are two ways people behave on opposite extremes that are both incorrect. And the correct way is in the middle. So this requires a little bit of understanding. That one is very simple. One mistake is that a person begins to believe he is superior to others. And he thinks that he is more righteous than others, more pious than others, more God-fearing than others, more beloved to Allah than others. Others are lower in status. Others are irreligious. And a person begins to develop a superior complex, superior attitude. And I am a great saint and you are a grave sinner. The fact that this is wrong is quite obvious, but a person ends up falling into this kibr and arrogance. And we ask Allah Ta'ala to protect us from that. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ يُزَكُّونَ أَنفُسَهُم. Do you not see the condition of those people who declare themselves to be pure? That I am so pure, I am holier than you. أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ يُزَكُّونَ أَنفُسَهُم. بَلِ اللَّهُ يُزَكِّي مَن يَشَاءُ. Allah is the one who purifies whom He wishes. We cannot declare ourselves to be pure. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُم. Do not declare yourself to be pure. هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. He knows fully well who has taqwa and who does not. So this is a big trick of shaitan. And that is why the scholars say that the istighfar عن المعصية أحب إلى الله من الاستكبار على الطاعة. The one who seeks forgiveness from Allah after committing a sin is actually more beloved to Allah than the one who displays arrogance after committing a good deed. So if somebody committed a good deed and ended up being arrogant, then the one who committed a sin and asked Allah for forgiveness is actually more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so 5 brothers from our Jamaat, inshallah, please proceed downstairs to help with the breakfast. Right, 1, 2, 5, from our students, inshallah. Okay, so the rest of the brothers who are here can come closer, inshallah. The gaps that these volunteers made. There's more than 5, but inshallah, maybe that's enough, inshallah. The rest can come closer, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Rest come closer. So we have, because this is important, right? This first part is obvious. The second part is the one I wanted to actually address. So there are 2 ways we end up dealing with other people. Okay? One was the first one. We think we are holier than them. The second part is the more important one. We think we say, oh, we are better. What did we learn? Just to refresh before this very important announcement in the middle. This request is for preparing the breakfast. The breakfast is after Ishraq. So if you're going to get up and leave, then we're going to miss the breakfast as well. Right? So inshallah, this is called Jumlatun Mu'tarida. This is something in the middle it came. Now we go back to what we were talking about is people begin to think they are holier, and this will end up invalidating their thawab. Al-istighfar anil ma'asiyah ahabu ilallah min al-istikbar ala ta'a. If a person seeks forgiveness and has regret after committing a sin, is actually more beloved to Allah than the one who displays arrogance after doing a good deed. So what happens, a person did a good deed like perform Fajr in Jama'ah, then he's arrogant about it. So when he's arrogant, he thinks he's better, he's showing off to others. Man salla yura'i faqad ashraka. The good deed that he did is gone. And thereafter he ends up having the sin of arrogance. The other person, he committed a sin, he missed it. But after he missed it, what happens? He makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَائِبٌ مِّنَ ذَنْبِ كَمَنْ لَا ذَنْبَ لَهُ. The one who repents from a sin is like the one who never committed it. And then he gets closer to Allah ta'ala for making tawbah and returning to Allah. So he gets a good deed. So he ends up becoming in a higher status than the one who was arrogant. Is the bottom line, okay, so we should commit sins and then ask istighfar afterwards? That's what we learned. Don't even worry about doing good deed. Absolutely not the case. What we're supposed to do is do the good deed and then thank Allah for the tawfiq. And say that هذا من فضل ربي, and alhamdulillah الذي وفقنا لهذا. All thanks to Allah hadana لهذا, who guided us, who gave us tawfiq. That's what we're supposed to do. Not that we're supposed to do the good deed and be thankful, rather than doing a sin and asking istighfar, or doing the good deed and being proud. But between the two, the one who actually committed a sin and asked Allah for forgiveness is higher than the one who did the good deed and is arrogant. So we have no room, no opportunity to think we are better than others. And actually, we need to be, shaitan is in different tricks of shaitan to stop people from good deeds, is he creates within their heart this waswasa that even if you don't feel that you're superior, he'll put in the heart of other people that, oh, this person thinks he's so righteous. So if somebody has a beard and someone who does not have, he looks and says, oh, this person thinks he's better than me just because he has a beard. If there's a sister who's wearing a hijab and a one sister who's not wearing hijab, maybe it's the first time they met or at some function. So the one who is not wearing the hijab, not from her own nafs, I'm not blaming her, but from shaitan, this is the wasawis of shaitan. She may at first glance start thinking that, oh, you think you are more pious than me? You think you are more righteous than me just because you're wearing hijab? You think I am promiscuous? You think I'm displaying my beauty? You think I'm a lower level than you? You're a better Muslim, you're a better human being. Or even gets to the point, you think you are more beautiful than I am? You think I'm ugly? You think you're so beautiful you have to hide your beauty, and I'm so ugly I can flaunt my beauty and it's not attractive? Na'udhu billah. So that's how low it gets. So to correct this is actually more important. The burden is upon the one who may be practicing at an external level to a certain extent, that they have to go not just be nice and forthcoming and embracing and welcoming, but go above and beyond the call of duty. To embrace and to smile and to interact and to be humble, to remove this misunderstanding that shaitan is placing in the heart of the one who outwardly may be less performing, right? So there's no way I think myself to be better than you, because I'm humbling myself in front of you. I'm being so kind to you. I'm being so welcoming to you. They have to be more welcoming than is otherwise naturally required. Is everyone following me so far? Why? Because shaitan will try to stop the one who is not in the practice by putting that concept in their mind that this one who is doing amal thinks they're better than you, even though they may not even feel that way. If they are feeling that way, it's wrong. If they're not feeling that way, that's great. But they have to overcome this attack from shaitan. So, that is the obvious one. Let me go to the other extreme. The other extreme, and this is becoming more and more mainstream, and people are actually actively preaching this, is the whole concept, which is part of the liberal agenda of liberalism, of which one? Don't judge. So don't judge anybody. Don't pass any comment about anybody or any action. This is where it gets very, very tricky. So you have to pay 100% attention. I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying. So what happens is, like, one example is, I don't want to identify obviously which masjid and which year, but this is my personal experience. I was traveling. There's been a couple of years in the past where the Jum'ah and the Eid was on the same day. Right? Can you recall where the Jum'ah and Eid? Okay, so the Eid Salah, for example, was at 10 o'clock. Then people prayed the Eid in the Musalla al-Eid. Then after that, a couple hours later, 3 hours later, 2 hours later, 4 hours later, we're praying the Jum'ah Salah. Okay, are you with me? Now the Khatib on the day of Jum'ah and is the day of Eid, he is addressing the crowd. Now what he said is technically not 100% incorrect, but it really is a very confusing statement, which can potentially embolden people, empower people to commit sin. Because standing on the minbar, he's giving in khutbah, he's saying, look, this whole don't judge. See, this don't judge anyone, basically, I'm not going to go into the whole theory of relativity of truth, and truth is relative, and there's not one absolute truth, and I may have my own way, you may have your own way. This is a whole concept, right? We believe that there's absolute truth and falsehood. جاء الحق وزهق الباطل. So there's truth and falsehood. Nowadays, the whole culture is everything is relative. Something may be true for me, may be false for you. Something may be true for you, may be false for me. There's not one absolute truth and falsehood. Everything is relative. It's relative. From my perspective, it's this way. Your perspective could be something absolutely different. When it comes to theology, when it comes to aqidah, when it comes to gender, I may think I'm a female, you may think I'm a male, whatever. Whatever anybody wants to think, that's what is the way. So if anybody wants to have marriages like this, or the L, G, or B, or T, or Q, or I, or whatever, all the different alphabet, everything is relative. To the point that actual physiology and biology and anatomy is being denied. So if you see anything different, don't have any comment. Don't pass any judgment. Don't be judgmental, right? That's the mantra. That's the slogan. That's the motto. That's the culture. That's the ideology. So what happens is the Khatib is saying, okay, a few hours ago we prayed Eid, yes or no? The crowd, yes. So there may have been people, men or women, who are dressed in a very wrong manner, and exposing themselves, exposing their beauty, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى, and exposing themselves and you may think it's an impermissible manner. You may have come out of your i'tikaf, and you may have been doing khatam of Quran upon Quran every night, and you may have been praying your tahajjud all night. And then when you went there in Eid, and you saw people dressed like this, men, women, and if he said, do not judge anyone. Do not judge anyone. And you do not know that Allah Ta'ala could have rejected all of your i'tikaf and your ibadah and everything, and Allah could have accepted their Eid and their Ramadan and their good deeds, and could have forgiven them. I don't even know if he mentioned they could have forgiven them, because the way it's being presented as if nothing they did was wrong. You are the criminal, and the person who apparently is violating the orders of Allah is the most righteous person. That's the way it's presented. So don't be judgmental. Don't pass any. They could be forgiven, and you could be the actual culprit. So and then that's it. There's no further explanation. Now what happens is that I was listening to this and I was saying, oh my God, what is going on right here? Because this is emboldening people, empowering people. If I was someone who attended the Eid Salah with my awrah exposed, forget about anything else, my salah itself is invalid. My salah itself is not acceptable. So, for example, frankly, let's talk about the hair. So if a woman, her hair is exposed, outside her hair exposed is one sin, displaying the awrah. But the salah time, the hair is exposed, the salah itself is invalid. That's why you as a man may not be aware, because unless you are in the maintenance or in cleaning or in the night time, obviously, you will not go into the women's prayer hall. Right? I'm assuming you will not go into Musalla Nisa. But do you know that in most of the Musalla Nisa, in the masajid in America, there is a box of hijabs. There's a good side to it and a sad side to it. Why are these a box of hijabs? It's because let's start with the positive side, is that women who are coming to perform salah without hijab, at least there's a box where they can pick up a hijab and wear it to perform the salah. So there is a concept that, my salah will be invalid without it. And what's the opposite side? Nobody is teleported into the musalla. How did he end up here? You had to come from outside, right? Even if you're dropped on by helicopter, you had to come from somewhere. How did you get there? Did you just jump from your bedroom straight into the musalla? No. So that means the entire way the disobedience of Allah was happening. You understand my point? So, if a woman, subhanallah, if someone came and prayed Eid like that, which is not even invalid, because the awrah, covering the part of the body that's determined by Sharia, is a shart, is a condition for the validity of prayer. إِذَا فَاتَ الشَّرْطُ فَاتَ الْمَشْرُوطُ. If the condition not there, the prayer is invalid. Now, if they hear the khatib saying, don't judge, actually, people are doing itikaf and everything, they may be, you may be more acceptable in the eyes of Allah than them. So what type of message? Is there any opportunity for them to consider to make tawbah? They further got strengthened, I'm actually better than everyone else. So you will say, okay, fine, this is wrong. This type of approach is wrong too. But then what was the first thing you talked about? That's why I said it's interlinked. The first thing we said, no, don't ever consider yourself better. Didn't we say that? فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. So if you are practicing anything of deen, and someone is not practicing any aspect of the deen, you're not supposed to consider yourself better. But then the other side, you're saying you're not supposed to consider what they're doing is right as well. So what do you do? How do you resolve this apparent contradiction? This dichotomy is here. So there is a very important resolution to this. And that is, and to make it easier for everyone, is the present condition versus the final conclusion. When it comes to the present condition, we have to create within ourselves the understanding that there is a correct thing and there is an incorrect thing. And we have to speak out against that which is incorrect. We have to do nahi anil munkar. So if I'm doing something wrong, my child is doing, my student is doing, if anything wrong is happening in the community, then what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And speaking out against wrong is not being judgmental. That's regarding the present tense. Like now, halan. And this is not judging anybody. Why? Because the final judgment is based on the final condition. And the final condition is the last condition when a person dies. Al-i'tibaru bil khawatim. What counts is the khatimah. And the khatimah is what? Unknown. So if we say that, mashallah, your salah you performed it in the correct manner, you have a mistake, you need to correct it. You're not judging anybody. You're not saying this person is a jannati, this person is a jahannami. This person is, يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ أَبَدًا أَبَدًا خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا, and this one, Jahannam خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا. No, you're not making any judgment. Because what counts is the ending. Ending is unknown. So a person who his whole life may be on the correct path, may die without iman. يُولَدُ مُؤْمِنًا يَحْيَا مُؤْمِنًا يَمُوتُ كَافِرًا. A person is born as a mu'min, lives as a mu'min, dies as a kafir. And the other people, yuladu, he's born kafira, Yahya kafira, he lives as a kafir, وَيَمُوتُ مُؤْمِنًا, he dies as iman. These are the words of the hadith. In fact, it's even more crazier than that. There's a hadith that there's a person, yusbihu mu'mina, in the morning is a mu'min, وَيُمْسِي kafira, in the evening is a kafir. And yumsi mu'mina, in the evening is a mu'min. Yumsi mu'mina, yusbihu kafir, in the morning is kafir. So what counts is the ending. And the ending is unknown. And the possibility of misguidance after guidance is real. Otherwise Allah Ta'ala wouldn't teach us, رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا. Do not allow our hearts to become accursed after you granted us guidance. So He's teaching us this dua. Oh Allah, we seek your protection from misguidance after guidance. The dua itself is indicative of the possibility of misguidance after guidance. So we are not making any final judgment. We are not making any final judgment. The ending is unknown. So so we are not supposed to be arrogant. There's no reason to be arrogant because the ending is unknown. And at the same time, we are not being judgmental if we call out what is wrong. So if we, amongst ourselves, the first individual in this ummah who got the title of Hakim al-Ummah was Abu Darda radiallahu anhu. It's a very unique attribute. He's the first person that the Sahaba used to call Abu Darda Hakim al-Ummah. And he was the great mu'allim of Ahlul Sham in Dimashq. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu has sent him. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu. He sent different individuals. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud to Kufa, and Abu Darda to Dimashq, and Amr ibn As to Misr. These Sahaba, they spread out and spread the deen. So Abu Darda radiallahu anhu, he said that there will be khair in the ummah as long as there are people who are doing nahi anil munkar, speaking out against wrong. But what happens is that the voices of speaking out against wrong are being silenced by the agenda of don't be judgmental. So nobody wants to say anything. Because as soon as you say speak out against evil, oh, you're being judgmental. No, I'm not. You got to attack that right there. Stop it before the guy takes it further. No, stop right there. I'm not being judgmental. I'm not passing any judgment about you or about anyone. I'm saying this action right now is incorrect. The judgment will be done by Allah. He is the Maliki Yawmiddin. He is the master of the day of judgment. He is the only one who will judge. There's no judgment here. We're saying this action right now is wrong. And this is shaitan at play here, not allowing us to do nahi al-munkar, because as soon as you do that, you say, oh, you're being judgmental. Is that clear? Is that absolutely clear to everyone? This is something we have to speak about. And one beautiful story about this, and it's a long story. Normally I drag it on and give the whole background, the historical background and context, but I'll make it super short now, is about the two greatest tragedies that happened to the Muslim Ummah, one from the east, one from the west. Any student of history knows what I'm referring to. The one from the east is the Mongols. The one from the west is the Crusades. So the Mongols came, Genghis Khan and his army, they came and destroyed the cities after cities, burned them to the ground, decimated the population. They would make the long, tall towers and minarets of skulls. Right? Did someone say something? Yes, skulls. Kopriyon ke minar, right? So this struck terror in a town and say, okay, you know what? You want to save yourself? Bring out all your hidden treasures and take out all your wealth and everything. We may spare you. So then everyone would go and take out all their wealth and everything, please. And they would cry. Then they would kill every single young man, old woman, child, and then erect the truck, after taking everything. So there was the unparalleled one. If you think about genocide and this one nowadays, what is it called? Ethnic cleansing, right? So they did beyond that. Such horrors that the malaika were telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, تَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاء. They will be spreading the bloodshed. There was so much terror, irhab, the true terrorists, that if one Mongol person would come and there would be 10 Muslim grown able-bodied men, and he would tell all of them, hey, they are 10 against 1, right? But they were so terrorized. He would say, all of you wait here, I'm going to go get my sword. He tells them straight up, I'm going to go get my sword, I'm going to come back and kill you. The 10 would be so terrified they would stand there. One by one he would come without having to tie him up, with not even being like a goat or a sheep, just right there, and he one by one slaughtered them all because they were so terrified. So in this culture, the Mongol prince, he was hunting. The king, his son, was hunting in the jungle. And when he was hunting in the jungle, he had his hunting dogs with him. And he ended up meeting one Darwish, one Zahid, Abid, Sheikh Jamaluddin in the middle of the jungle. And he was in a tattered clothes. He was sitting there doing ibadah. So he wanted to have fun with him. He caught him and he said, hey, this is the Inna likulli malikin himan, right? Every king has a restricted zone that you're not supposed to hunt inside there. This area is, violators will be prosecuted, no trespassing. This is the king's area for hunting. Why are you here? So he said, okay. Then he said, okay, he wanted to have some fun with him. So he asked him a very simple question. He said, you foul, despicable Muslim subject, are you better than my dog? So he thought it was a very simple question. Very obvious answer is that, who am I versus your dog? Your dog is the royal dog. And I'm not even worth the dirt on the dog. I'm a lowly Muslim subject. Or if you wanted to die, perhaps you could say that, no, I'm better. I'm a human being. This is a dog. I'm a human being. The human being is the best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Harun al-Rashid and his Malika Zubaydah. You know the story of Harun al-Rashid and Malika Zubaydah, his queen? He was sitting in a balcony enjoying the moonlight, romantic night. And then he looks at the moon and he looks at his beautiful queen Zubaydah. And he says, Wallahi, you're so more beautiful. You are, if you are not, you are so beautiful compared to everything here. If you are not more beautiful than the moon, then there's 3 talaq mughallada for you. That's how beautiful you are. If there's any doubt in that, then you are mutallaq. So then he went, after that, she said, what in the world did you just say? What is the hukum of our nikah now? You can express your love in so many ways. Why you have to use this language? What's wrong with you? Anyway, so then he was stressed out. He went to ask the different scholars. And they said that, the moon is a very beautiful thing in poetry. And the Badr, at-tam, the complete moon. There's a hilal, a crescent, and then there's the Badr. Tala'al Badru alayna min thaniyatil wada'i. So the moon is known as the very, very beautiful creation. So I'm not sure, because you said if you are not more beautiful than the moon, then you're talaq. So how are we going to judge this? It's a very subjective thing. Then Qadi Abu Yusuf, he came and he said that 100% your nikah is valid and intact, and there is no doubt that your marriage is there. There's no talaq. He said, how can you say so? He said, it's proven from the Quran. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Allah has made the human being the most beautiful creation. So this Jamaluddin, he could have answered that. Or if he wanted to die, he could have said, what are you talking about? I'm better than, he could have answered that your dog is better or I'm better. But then the thing is, he said something very strange. He said that, I cannot answer your question now. So that really shocked the king. He said, what in the world does that mean? How can you say I will not answer your question now? Right? I need to make an appointment with you? You're busy right now, you can't answer my question? What do you mean by saying I can't answer your question? What the heck does that mean? But the thing about the kings is that you have to get them curious and make them start thinking, because they're just so bored, right? They're just so bored, just enjoying themselves all the time. So if something is interesting, catch their fancy, makes them start thinking, they really enjoy that because they don't have much time to think or anything to think about. So when he said that answer, he started thinking. He could have just killed him, but now he got curious. He doesn't want to kill him, but he won't get the answer. So he said, what in the world do you mean by that? If he wants to be arrogant and dies, he would say, I'm better than your dog. But he didn't say that. If he wants to live, he could have said, your dog is better than me. He didn't say that. He said, I can't answer your question right now. What does that mean? What are you getting at? What is going on here? So then the king said, yeah, excellent. What does that mean? So then he said, you know what? The thing is, I can't answer the question right now because you asked who is inherently better. If I die with the kalima of Islam, then I'm better than your dog. But if I die without the kalima of Tawheed, then your dog is better than me. Subhanallah. So then he said, wow. Really? You're saying you can't answer? Because he said, yeah, I don't know the ending. If I die with his kalima, I'm better than your dog. But if I die without kalima, your dog is better than me. Is that true? He said, yeah. You know what? I'll take it one step further, he said. He said, actually, if you die with the kalima, you're better than your dog. And if you die without the kalima, your dog is better than you even. Afdalul jihad is what? Kalimatu haqqin inda sultanin jair. The best form of jihad is to speak the truth in the face of a tyrant king. So he said, wow. What is this kalima? What in the world is this kalima that with it I'm better than my dog, otherwise my dog is better than me? Tell me what is this kalima? He really got him. He hooked him in. And then he said, I want to know what this kalima is. He said, kalima is la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. So he got so affected by that, he said, I accept Islam. I want this kalima. I want to be better than my dog. I want to be loyal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he said, you know what, right now if I declare my Islam, my father will kill me. He will not have any hesitation to kill me. And he has other sons who will be his successor. So I cannot declare my Islam. However, when my father passes away and I become the king, come back to the court and remind me and I will publicly declare my Islam. Time goes on, the father died, he became the king. Shaykh Jamaluddin wants to go and remind him, but then when he goes to the city and he goes to the palace and he says, can you let me go inside? And they say, no, get lost. The guards don't let him in. So he tries to go in, he doesn't get an opportunity to go in. So in the middle of the night, he jumps over the wall into the garden, the backyard of the king's palace, and he starts really loudly calling the adhan. So it will help, the shaitan will run away and help him in his da'wah. But that wasn't the objective. The objective was to create a nuisance sound. So then the guards, they captured him. They said, you're the same guy who knocked on the front gate in the morning, we told you get lost, now you came back. You know what? You're going to take you to the king tomorrow. Then he said, ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي. That's exactly what we wanted. So he put him in the jail overnight. The next day they brought him to the king. When he came as a prisoner, he reminded the king of the meeting in the jungle. And the king said, oh yes, you're the one. Come up, come sit next to me on the throne. He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Then he asked all the people in the court to accept Islam. And then the Mongol nation, the whole Qawm, they accepted Islam. The entire nation accepted Islam. It was just that one meeting. Now the point here is that we cannot consider ourselves to be better in the present, but and when we speak out against evil, does not mean we are being judgmental. We have to continue to do amr bil ma'ruf, invite towards good, continue to do nahi al munkar, speak out against evil. And if you start this, what happened? You will face opposition. You're going to say, why in the world was he going around in circles? That day Mufti Minhajuddin came, the last day when he's leaving, give us this whole thing. What's the point of that? You start amr bil ma'ruf and you start nahi al munkar, you'll know what I'm saying. First thing you're going to hear is what? Oh my God, you're being judgmental. I guarantee it in the house of Allah, you will hear it sooner or later. You are being judgmental. Oh man, don't judge people. Don't judge people. That's what you're going to hear. And then I hope this lesson you remember. What are you going to say? I'm not being judgmental. I'm not better than you. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. I'm not declaring myself to be better than you. I don't know what the ending is. I make dua, رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا. Right? Don't say I'm being judgmental. That's Kaaba. That's the way to evade the issue. What is wrong is wrong. What's right is right. Right? We don't believe in this relative nonsense. We believe this absolute haqq and absolute batil. So therefore, don't evade the issue by saying I'm being judgmental. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to keep this correct balance in between. Not to regard ourselves superior, but at the same time speak out against falsehood. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Inshallah, there will be opportunity to perform your Ishraq Salah. And then, inshallah, there's breakfast downstairs. This is an opportunity for us to meet together. What time is the sunrise? I was just checking to make, the sunrise is 7:03. So it's just about, we should wait, make the dhikr of Allah Ta'ala a few more minutes past sunrise.